been murdered.
We are going to need CID.
As luck would have it, the camera is pointing up toward the ceiling. Lo and behold, what do you see? This is our killer.
Linda Collins, once a powerful Arkansas state senator, found herself expelled after a decade in office. Her life spiraled into confusion, marked by a bitter divorce and a struggle to find her footing. Today, she stands at the center of a popular nail-biting crime story, a spokeswoman caught in a whirlwind of suspense and drama. To reclaim her strength and resilience, Linda didn't have to look far. After a few months of refocusing and recovery, she returned to her roots, moving back to her small hometown of Pocahontas, Arkansas, a place of just 7,500 people. There, she began her journey to rebuild her life. Once settled, Linda threw herself into running a motel full-time. These days were vibrant for her, filled with joy as she spent more time with her grandchildren. Linda, the ever-loving grandmother, never missed a chance to be with them whenever she had free time.
Go! 39! Nick butt! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. But a video, yeah!
During this time, Linda was also dating a new man and seeking fresh opportunities, searching for jobs across the US. Hoping for a new start, she moved to Washington, D.C. on May 27th for an important interview. Excited, she didn't forget to text her beloved daughter, Tate, about the experience. According to Linda's daughter, their last conversation was right before her mom vanished. On May 29th, a couple of days later, Tate sent a picture of new shoes, but there was no response from Linda. Feeling uneasy, Tate recalled her mother mentioning that she'd be busy for the next few days. To avoid disturbing her, Tate refrained from calling or bombarding her with texts. But things took a darker turn. A few days later, Tate tried calling her mother again, but still got no response. Tate, who lived outside of Little Rock, Arkansas, was preparing to attend a music award event out of town. As she worried, she called her brother Butch, telling him to visit their mother's place in Pocahontas to check if she returned. When Butch arrived, he faced something unexpected. Linda's truck was parked in the driveway, but she wasn't answering the door. Growing concerned, Butch peeked through the window, searching for any sign of his mother, but the house was empty. Butch didn't have an extra key to his mother's house, so he immediately called his grandfather, Linda's father, to get one. Linda's father, always the investigative type, arrived quickly. He noticed Linda's truck doors were unlocked, which was unusual. Linda always locked her vehicle when she wasn't home. Next, he checked the back door and found it unlocked too. Alarmed, he went inside and searched every room. The house, still under renovation, was eerily quiet. As he entered the kitchen, his eyes fixated on an unusual thing. A large stain, dark and ominous, stained the floor. It resembled spilled coffee, or perhaps something far more sinister. Because Linda is a hardcore coffee lover, he initially assumed she clumsily spilled a pot. Yet, as he also predicted the possibility of something more suspicious, like spilled blood. As suspicion mounted, Butch was immediately called by his grandfather. Within moments, he too arrived at the scene. Without wasting no time, he delved into his investigation. After a thorough search indoors, they exited through the front door. Linda's father recoiled as an unpleasant odor assailed his senses, emanating from the driveway beside Linda's truck. Amidst Linda's truck and construction materials covered under a tarp, Butch's attention was drawn to a bad smell. Stepping closer, he lifted up the tarp to reveal a shocking scene. What he saw was his mother, Linda, lying face down with her arms above her head wrapped in a blanket. After noticing, he soon went towards his grandfather and said that he found his mother lying dead there. After that, Butch did not forget to call 911 and report about his mother's unusual and unexpected death.
We got a 911 call from a Butch.
Following Butch's urgent call, the Randolph County Sheriff's Office swiftly descended upon the scene, launching a probe into Linda Collins' mysterious demise. The Arkansas State Police soon joined forces, intensifying the investigation into this mysterious death.
Have y'all been inside the home?
Yes, we have.
We'll wait till my sheriff gets here, but yeah, we're gonna need in there. Okay, so there's gonna be something up with this. We are gonna need CID out here.
As their investigation unfolded, they noted the empty brackets on the walls where the CCTV camera should have been. It was evident that someone forcefully removed them, erasing potential evidence. Additionally, a broken black plastic hair barrette laid abandoned on the ground, hinting at a struggle or disturbance. After some time, the Arkansas Mobile Crime Lab finally arrived at the crime scene, ready to unravel the mystery. Their findings sent shockwaves through the investigation, as they determined the cause of death: multiple stab wounds. With the clock ticking, investigators reached out to Linda's inner circle to piece together the timeline of events. Among them were her close friend Tim Logan and his wife Rebecca, also known as Becky, who were questioned intensively.
I love that woman like a sister, and this is killing me.
And I know you're upset, and I don't want to upset you anymore. Oh, I know, Miss Becky. I know it's hard.
She was my best friend. I started out working for her as her personal assistant.
Becky was Linda's assistant, but ended up being more than just co-workers. They were like very close friends. Moreover, Becky had told investigators that she was the one who picked Linda up from the DC airport when she arrived there. After settling in DC temporarily, Linda had also called Becky to bring lunch for her. But the two had ended the conversation by arguing about Linda's new boyfriend, Wendell Wallace, who'd stayed the night and left in the morning.
Out there, and she told me all about the night before because the man out there, Rendell, spent the night with her. When I left, she was mad at me.
Why was she mad at you?
I was butting in her personal life. She was talking about how the night before it had taken Rendell like 4 hours to respond to her text and calls.
This is before he came over, I'm assuming. Okay.
And she was kind of upset about it. And
after all, the investigators' next lookup was Wendell Wallace. When they started investigations upon Rendell, what they found was he wasn't a new guy for Linda's life. Linda had told Tim that before her marriage to her ex-husband Phil Smith, she was seeing both men at one point, but she had a regret about the decision about the marriage with Phil. However, Linda was having a happy time with Rendell.
It just picked up and we was just happy to be with one.
Rendell and Linda often found themselves swept up in the rhythm of dance. It seemed like every day was a chance for Linda to let her passion for dancing shine.
We went down to the Eagles and had a few drinks and danced because we loved to dance, me and her both. So we hooked up and we went down there and danced and wound up spending the night in Jonesboro at a motel.
Later, it was found that when Linda visited DC, she had also visited Arizona to meet up with her beloved cousins. It was to celebrate her birthday together with them. During that trip, Linda had messaged Rendell to come and meet her there.
So I told her I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, I'll be in Monday. She said, I want to see you.
So according to Rendell, that was the last time she had talked with him. Now, the investigators are receiving some mixed statements. The statement from Becky and Rendell were quite distracting and disgusting. Was Becky lying about the contents of her phone call with Linda, about where she was going to stay with Rendell? Or was Rendell lying about the last time he saw Linda? Or else was Linda lying and staying at home and faced with a random intruder? Other than that, there were many questions such as why would Becky lie? What about Tim? Does Linda have any enemies? Are Becca and Linda friends? When Linda met Tim, what about Rendell? What about Phil? Where was Phil at that week? And was it a random murder by a random killer? After digging deep into Linda's inner circle, investigators unearthed a shocking truth. Becky, entrusted with Linda's business finances during her travel, was robbing her blind. Linda had caught Becky lying and confronted her about the missing money. It was a showdown of betrayal of the entire trust. Finally, Becky was arrested.
I bet you sit right here. I'm gonna lay it all out there for you, okay? You're under the risk of the murder, Linda. You understand that?
We got you.
We got you.
We got video of you.
You didn't erase them all.
We got you.
But then things got even worse. Turns out Becky had been talking to her cellmates about hiring someone to kill Phil and his new wife. They were going to get paid with gold and silver supposedly hidden in Phil's house. The cellmates spilled the beans to the cops, showing them a fake note Becky wrote for them to plant at the scene of Phil's murder.
Donald tried to get several of her fellow inmates to murder Linda Collins' ex-husband, Phil Smith. That never panned out because those inmates went to investigators.
Becky even tried to get other inmates to kill Linda's ex-husband, but they went to the cops too. Becky said the bloody knife in a video was just for a chicken, but nobody bought it. In the end, she admitted to killing Linda and planning Phil's murder. She got 50 years in prison as a result. Linda's family finally felt some relief, knowing that Becky couldn't hurt anyone else.